Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Inside Movies Galore. I'm your host, David Streggy, and today I have another review for you from a film that was filmed in 2012. For a time, Warlock Films, Chris Sieber, was putting out films that had a retro campy type 80s look. And one of the directors that ended up using the pseudonym by the name of Nigel Cheeseball directed a film by the name of Bloody Red Lips of Blood. And as you can see, it's got the Warlock Films logo on it. Definitely has it has a few ladies on it. And the thing is, Nigel Cheeseball is in fact Joe Sherlock, who is now in charge of Skullface Astronaut Films. This was put out by Cheeseball Video Inc., and it was a made-up production company name for Joe Sherlock, and the film revolves around two lesbian vampires by the name of Karen and Lisa, who go and pick up unsuspecting victims at the Rockheads Club, somewhere in the downtown of wherever they are. What I've said before is that Joe Sherlock is very diverse for, I don't know, a lot of independent features that have involved many actresses that are a little bit larger in size. And that doesn't mean that they are not beautiful in their own way, but they are not so skinny like the Hollywood norm, like the skinny minis that it seems like regular Hollywood tends to focus on using actors and actresses that have a much more of a physique, and they don't tend to use people with overly people that are overweight. And I didn't want to be rude about saying that, but I think that Joe Sherlock tends to use a lot of very good actors and actresses that are overweight, and that's okay. But I think that gives a lot more people a chance to act, and I love that. So I think we have to give it up for Joe Sherlock for doing that for some of these actors and actresses. And the reason why I mentioned the size of the actresses is I believe that Karen, one of the lesbian vampires, who is going down to this club in the very beginning and picks up a larger size woman than herself, with a large breast size. So there is definitely nudity in this film, and I don't want this to sound like I'm a jerk or anything, but it is what it is. So she brings this chick home, and they do some making out, and then when she gets the chick in the shower, she bites and drinks her blood. When Lisa comes home from the other lesbian vampire, apparently she is late to the action and drinking the blood, but then they both end up in towels and playing Nintendo. Next, we are introduced to Professor Bartell, who is mourning the death of his daughter, Jennifer. We are introduced to him as he is visiting her graveside, as he is still having trouble sleeping over the death of his daughter, that the police can still not find anything about her killer. I did notice that the room in which the Professor Bartell lives looks a lot like one of the kitchens that was used in Odd Noggins. So while the professor is, which Odd Noggins is a film that Joe Sherlock had directed back in the '90s, and then he remade in um, relatively recently in the 2000s. Um, it definitely looks like one of the kitchens used in Noggins, the remake, at least. So while the professor is bugging the local police about a new body that has shown up, Karen and Lisa have picked up another victim and drugged her with some wine, someone in their gym or yoga class or some such nature. Meanwhile, Professor Bartell, goes to speak with his daughter, or Jennifer's best friend, Amy, and that's when she talks to him about the club and that she has been hanging out at Rockheads, that swinging club in the downtown area that the rock and rollers and the metalheads hang out. Otherwise known as Wastoids. So next we are introduced to the Wastoids as they are watching an afternoon movie which stars Tanja Tomic, who is the now director of Manos Returns, as a scream queen who arrives home and dances and plays with her hair, unsuspecting that a killer with a knife is about to slash her throat. After talking to the dudes, the two of them that hang down at the club, the professor went to stake out the place. Well, back at home, while his wife was showering, a giant bug-like creature with pinchers starts to come towards her, and so she shooted out of the house, which is apparently a scientific experiment of the professor's. Will Professor Bartell be able to figure out what happened to his daughter before the detective Jackson figures out that they have a vampire infestation on their hands? Is the professor a little mad himself, since we don't know what kind of creature he has created in his laboratory? Now, there was some good acting and there was some really bad acting. Like the main character, Tom Schaefer, he kept screwing up his lines, and I think he knows that he did, but he did get the bugging of the police down. You could tell that this was done on a really low budget, and you could definitely tell that this was trying to be a campy late 80s, early 90s shot on video slasher film with a blood drinker twist. I thought the two ladies who played the vampires were two of the better actresses, and I think that the man playing the detective in charge of the rest of them needed a little bit of work. This being said, I did enjoy it, and I was entertained. If you sit back and watch, you can laugh a little, and it's a perfect example of a cheesy bad movie, and it's definitely out there. I love the title and the artwork for the film. My only thing is, I wish that the creature that the professor had worked on, that looks like a bug with pinchers, could have looked a little better. Other than that, you just have to enjoy the ride. I mean, if this feature sounds like something that you would definitely watch, then I suggest that you seek the film out for yourself. It was entertaining to a point, at least for me. And if you like bad movies, like I do, then it's definitely up your alley. In any case, thank you for listening. I enjoyed watching this film. I enjoyed learning that who the real director of the film was. I'd actually bought it from Skullface Astronaut, and so learning that Joe Sherlock had something to do with the product, I'm glad that I actually saw it, and I mean, it's interesting seeing earlier productions from directors, and it was neat to watch. In any case, thanks for listening. Hopefully you enjoyed my description of this film. Like and subscribe to my page if you have not, and have a good evening, morning, or afternoon wherever you are. I will definitely have some more cool reviews for you coming up here. So definitely keep a watch on the page.